doing out there today in the cyber world? Effect. There we go. All right. Can you guys hear the phone ringing?
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from.
This call is now being recorded.
An incarcerated individual at the R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility, San Diego, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
Cinco. Oh.
To refuse,
Did it go through?
thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Ernie.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
All right. All right. So I want to go ahead and welcome Ernie to a brand new episode of You Have a Collect Call From. And this is going to be part 2 of his journey. A few weeks back, before I went off on vacation, we started off his his life journey, and we're here to continue where we left off. So I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Ernie, and for anybody that's tuning in right now, these calls are they're live, and if anybody comes in here and are asking how come you guys can't hear Ernie, we're going old school right now. Ernie's actually calling in from his tablet. You won't be able to see him today, so just imagine him right there in where he's at right now. So hopefully in the coming days we're able to do a video visit so you guys could check out Ernie and put a face to the voice, if you will.
Yes.
All right, Ernie. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's been a good day. Can't complain. I've been blessed. I'm glad to be back. Everything's been good so far. That's it. You were gone for a little vacation, and now we're back, and that's good.
Yeah, no, it is definitely good to be back. So we got our first question right now. I know a lot of individuals here listening right now, they might not be familiar with your journey, which you might give them like a small recap of who you are, where you're at, and how long you were sentenced to.
Okay, quick recap.
Yeah.
Well, yes, my name's Ernie. I've been incarcerated for going on 28 years. I got convicted for a gang drive-by shooting, murder. I was the driver. I got sentenced to life without parole, LWOP, meaning you can never get a board date. You're practically gonna die in prison. It's a slow death. It's also known as a slow death, whatever, But let me see. Let me see. I'm trying to think.
It's all good, Ernie. Take your time. Take your time.
For the I been incarcerated for a little over going on 28 years, and so I just, with that sentence over my head of the LWOP, I just felt hopeless, and I believe that I had that mindset that I have nothing to lose, so I just was real negative all the time, being destructive, always getting into trouble. I didn't care, because at the end of the day, that thought was always there that I'm never going home. I'm going to die in here, so I'm going to die on my terms, and so I did a lot of negative things, and but somehow I just started embracing hope. Started changing little bit at a time, and it's been a journey. And but let me see.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Is that, do I need more? I need to.
You're good. That's perfect right there, Ernie. Thank you. I appreciate it. So we got a question from Tracy. Tracy wants to know, how old is he now?
What was the question again?
How old are you now? What's your age?
Oh, okay, my bad. I'm 50. I'm 50 years old. I got incarcerated, or I committed my crime when I was 22, and I got incarcerated. I committed my crime in 1997, October. I was 22, and I got incarcerated about 3 months later, which is January of 1998. I had just turned 23, and but today, present, I'm 50 years old, and yeah.
Right now that you mentioned that you were involved in a drive-by shooting, I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you, in our previous conversations, but from on a daily basis, we sit in on initial appearances in either Maricopa County, which is in Arizona, or initial appearances in Miami-Dade. And today, when we're listening to an initial appearance in Maricopa, somebody there was an individual that was arrested for a drive-by, and some other comments people were dropping on the chat. I was chuckling, but doing a drive-by is obviously not a laughing matter. Some of the comments that they were putting was like, damn, they're still doing drive-bys, or damn, like drive-bys, like they're acting like it's 1999 or in the 90s, because drive-bys were huge, in the 80s and 90s. Here we are, 2025, and people are still, committing drive-bys, and I just wanted to share that with you because that's the first thought that popped into my mind when you mentioned that you were involved in a drive-by.
It's funny, but not funny. Yes, that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
The because I also seen it on the news not too long ago, right here in Arizona. It was I forgot what part of Arizona, but it was a drive-by shooting, and it was two youngsters. They were in their early 20s, or one was like a juvenile, and the oldest one, he was like early 20s. But I kind of thought the same thing when I seen that on the news. Like, damn, they still doing drive-bys. like, yeah, it's not a laughing matter, but just to think, like, damn, because I'm in here for a drive-by murder, and that was in the 90s, and now, nearly 28 years later, someone else is doing a drive-by, in another state, in Arizona, and it's just, in the early 90s, in the 80s. That's when it was really cracking. Even the walk-ups where you just walk up to somebody and you just start capping them, that was considered more respectable. But then people started, it evolved, the gang activity evolved to drive-bys, and that's how I got sucked in to the drive-bys. Because this wasn't my first drive-by either. I was involved in other shootings where, on this one I was a driver, but I shot other people before, and it's just crazy, so that being said, the question comes to mind: do I deserve the time that I got LWOP? I'm gonna say yes, because I did shoot at other people before. I just never got caught, So I was involved in the gang lifestyle, So I did deserve the time that I got, And I just want to make that clear, and that's it.
You know what? And I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm glad you brought that up
Because sometimes people get picked up, or they're given a lengthy amount of time for a crime that normally would cover, would it would be only a certain, like a robbery, normally cover. I think is, what is it, 3, 6, and 9. And then they end up adding a bunch of enhancements, and then you end up catching like either 25 to life or 18 years, or like football numbers when you get sentenced. And those individuals feel like they got done wrong, but they forget that they've committed other crimes where possibly they've taken somebody's life or really hurt somebody. So if you really think about it, it's karma. They're paying for those crimes that they got away with. And I've never had the opportunity to ask anybody that question. So I'm glad that you touched on that you're taking accountability for those crimes that you got away with, and for the one that you were not an active participant, you were the driver, and that's the one that ended up getting you a life sentence.
Yeah. It's just, today I just see things much different. I've had enough time on my hands to do self-reflection and just come to really understand the harm that I've caused, growing up, victimizing people, for my selfishness, and, with this case, I in the beginning, I just played the victim role, the victim mindset mentality, like, poor me, why did I get all this time? I was just a driver, I didn't shoot nobody, that wasn't me, it's not my fault, and try to minimize it, but like I said, eventually I just started changing and come to terms with my part in this crime. Like, you know what? And I'm not innocent. No, I had a role to play in this crime, and the fact that I was involved in other crimes. That's the thing. It's like, no, you know what? Like, I am guilty, and I'm not just guilty for this one. I'm guilty for committing many more crimes that I never got caught for. And that's taking full responsibility for my actions and hold myself accountable. And I owe it to all the people I hurt.
So Ernie, I got two questions for you here. Or actually one, and I think the other one's for me. So we got Maria Kane, and she's asking you. You have to ask yourself though, if he unalived your family, would you want them in for life, or out? And you know what? Like, as far as that goes, the only way I could answer that question, if you're asking me, is if he would have taken my family member's life, I honestly couldn't tell you how I would react. Fortunately for me, I haven't been in that type of situation. But I could see, from the perspective of the victim's family, that they probably wouldn't want him to, get out. But it all depends on the individual. Some people are, they move on. When they do lose ones. Some people, they can't. It varies. So, when it comes to grieving, everybody handles it differently.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
You know, hopefully that makes sense what I just said right there. And then we got a question. We got two questions, and I'll ask them right now before it hangs up, and you can answer when you call back.
Okay.
The first question is from Güero, and he wants to know what happened to the other guys. So, you know, you were involved in a drive-by. Did they get the same sentence as you? And then the other question
This
is,
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
with the Menendez brothers getting resentenced, do you think you'll be able to get back into court?
I'm gonna call back right now.
Okay, for sure.
Okay.
All right, so these cars are happening in real time. He's currently sitting in prison in California. They provide these individuals with tablets, and they're able to make free phone calls. Hey, you know, for everybody that's tuning in, I appreciate you guys. I'll try to get to as many of the questions or comments as possible. Appreciate you, M Star Media and Mad Max. I'll go ahead and read off some of your comments shortly. What's happening with the rapper case so far? What rapper? Oh, are you talking about P Diddy? What up, Andy T? Highly appreciate you. I'm new here, just listening to the cases. So yeah, so sometimes, you know, the majority of the time I am doing the court appearances. If you do want to watch those court appearances, I do have them running on my YT page right now. Obviously, I can't be in two places at one time. So the initial appearances in Maricopa, they're running solo dolo right now. We do have about 20-25 people listening in on the cases. If you do want to listen to the cases and you don't want to listen to this phone call, I would suggest for you to jump over to @CollectCallFrom on YT. And Tory, you know what? I haven't been keeping up with Tory Lanez. There's so many people, you know, following on that. And you know what? To be honest with you, I'm not really too interested in following it. There's enough people doing that. Are you doing lives, less lives, AZ court hearings? Nah, I'm not doing less. I was on today for like 5 hours from 8 a.m. to I think about almost 1 o'clock today. So you know, I just, you know, want to switch it up and give you and do a variety. Originally, when I started the channel, this was the primary thing I was doing was these phone calls. I haven't been doing them as much, but
this is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from.
This call is now being recorded.
An incarcerated individual at the R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility, San Diego, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
Let me see. Cinco.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hello. I'm back.
All right. Do you want me to read the questions back to you, or do you? Are you good? You're good on the questions.
Oh, the question was, I think it was what happened to the other guy?
Yeah.
And then something about the Menendez brothers.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay, the other guy, my crimey, he also got the same time as me. He got LWOP as well, and he's in a different prison. I don't know if he's still living that lifestyle or whatever, but I'm not in touch with him, so I really don't know. I don't know too much of what's going on with him or nothing like that. But the last time I seen him, we were in the same prison back in 2014. Yeah, 2014. But then I left, and then I haven't seen him ever since. But yeah, he got the same time as me, the LWOP. I was older than him at that time when we committed the crime, and I think he was 18 at the time. But that's all I can really say about him. It's just I don't know any updates with him or nothing like that. I don't know. Like I said, but now the Menendez brothers, something about resentencing.
Yes, yeah. So with them
Yeah.
getting resentenced, do you think you'll be able to get in court through that avenue?
Well, it's good to see that they got resentenced. That they took away their LWOP sentence, and they gave them, I think, 50 to life or something like that. And that gives them action to go to the parole board, and that's what we other LWOPs, are looking forward to. Like we're kind of like in back of them, following in their footsteps, per se. And so, I have high hopes, and that they won't discriminate against other LWOPs, I guess, I will want to say. But I can't say for sure, like, oh, yeah, because they got action, we're going to get action too. Like, I can't really say it like that, no, because it's not really set in stone, like, I don't know. I don't know nothing about law or anything like that. But what I do know is that I have to keep doing what I've been doing, and meaning staying out of trouble and keep going to groups and do what I got to do to show myself that I'm no longer that person that I was back then. And that's what I do have control over. So I'm real mindful of that. And but like I said, I do have high hopes.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I do have high hopes that somehow, the door will be open. I don't know when, but yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you, Ernie, for answering that. And Weddle put thanks for answering our question. G, we also had some comments from M Star Media, and she writes, "I appreciate Ernie's candor." And so, the last time we had a conversation, it was like the first portion of your journey. Your earliest childhood memories when you were a child, and you were kind of mentioning how you were bouncing around, like you would move from area to area every few I don't know, it was like once or twice a year. And kind of like how your childhood was with growing up with your mom. Would you like to continue where we left off?
Yeah, the moving around, I think our last stop of moving around was in the SGV. That was our last stop, and that ended up being home for us, and things, at home it was just different, like I love my mom, my mom's not here with us anymore, but she would just beat me and hit me, and with whatever she could get a hold of. And like my mom had anger issues. Like she just didn't know how to express love, and it was more like that tough love, or but as a young kid, I didn't know how to process that either, just getting beat up on, like, yes, there was times where I did mess up and I did deserve to get hit, I guess, but, I just, like, kind of like I just didn't feel like I deserved ass whoopings all the time like that. No, and I just didn't know how to deal with that. It just made me believe that my mom didn't love me, so I was feeling unloved at home, and like it just caused me to just run away. I just started running away. I started stealing from her. Like, sad to say, I stole the rent money. Like, she would save up the little she had to pay the rent, and then my ass would just steal the damn money, man. And I would go hang out with my little street friends, and I started looking at them like they were my family, and I didn't care what happened to my family, if they would get kicked out of the house because they couldn't pay the rent or whatever. I was just running away, sleeping at friends' house, sleeping in the park, and the cops would come get me days later and bring me back. I would be back home all drunk, throwing up, and my mom would take away all the clothes that I would be wearing in the streets, and she would throw it away. And I repeated that over and over. I would run away. As soon as they would bring me back, I would run away. And I was already a drunk, being a little kid, drinking, and I started committing crimes, and that led me to go to juvenile hall, and I just didn't know how to stop going to juvenile hall. I just kept going back, and then it became my second home, the system. And I went to camp, started going to camp. I went to 1, 2, 3. I've been to four different juvenile detention camps. I was at Miller, Kilpatrick, Mariloma, and the last one was Challenger. And let me see.
Hey, Ernie, let me ask you. You just mentioned Mariloma. They used Mariloma for juveniles back in those days.
Yeah, they had a camp. It was called Mariloma. It was for juveniles.
Was it located at the same as the other place called Mariloma also, or was it located in a different place?
No, it was right there. I think it's the same spot.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in, when was it? In 90. Yeah, when I had got out in 90. I didn't even last long. That was my last stop going to camp, was in 90. I quickly got arrested again for robbery, for I think it was 2 robberies. It was 3, but then they only got us for 2, and that's when I went to YA. Yeah, my first YA, and yeah, it was not nice. It was crazy. It was it was crazy because you had to keep fighting with other kids. You had to keep proving yourself all the time. It was a headache, you know. You always have to be on your toes, as we say, you know, because things always happen. And, you know, I ended up getting out in 93. 93. Do you want me to keep sharing the the times I went back to YA?
Yeah, you know, I did. So let me ask you. Well, you know what? Let's go back to court. So you're going to court for these robberies. Did you take your case to trial for that robbery, or did you just ended up pleading out?
No, that was so long ago. I think we pleaded out. Like we just took a deal or whatever. I think that's what it was. And then obviously, like I couldn't go back to any more camps because I already been to 4 of them. So the next stop was YA.
And so you end up taking a deal for YA. Did you know what to expect when you when before you got to YA? Were there anybody let you know like, hey, you're gonna land here and this is what's expected of you, this is the way you need to carry yourself, or did you just learn as you went?
Back then you would hear stories like from other individuals, like, yeah, when you get there, the first thing you do is you got to take off on your enemies, because if not, they're going to take off on you. So you got to look for them and just take care of business. You
have 60 seconds remaining.
You know, that's what, so going into it, that's what I did. You know, like, when I would see one or whatever, I would brush them, you know, because I didn't want to get rushed. So, but everything was just fear-based, everything.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
You know, like, it's just, we operated out of fear, you know, yeah, and then the rest, I just, you know, we just played it out, you know, just took it one day at a time, and that was it.
Hey, callback is about to hang up.
Okay.
All right. All right. So, hey, thank you. Hey, Luz, I see you in the chat. Hey, JP, thank you. I appreciate you. Jen, 1968, MJ, No Face. Hey, thank you, No Face, for hitting that the subscriber button. Highly appreciate that. You know what? To be honest with you, with the subscription, when I started it, I did it by accident, and it seems, you know, we've grown with the subscribers, so I highly appreciate you. I highly appreciate you guys. Hey, Carrie, I still haven't mailed out your stickers, but I have a good reason that I haven't mailed them out. Is I don't know where I left my stickers at. I'm looking for my Ziploc bag. So as soon as I find it, I'm gonna mail you out some other ones. All right. I haven't forgotten about you.
This is Global Telling.
This call is now
you
being
have a
recorded.
prepaid call from
Ernie?
I want that with emojis.
an incarcerated individual
Hey, thank you, No
at
Face.
the R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility, San Diego, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial
Monica, thank you for
5
the follow.
now.
Cinco.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So okay. So man, you get to YA, and just for the audience that's not familiar with the California Youth Authority, it was known as a gladiator school. You know, people, you know, that would go there. It was survival of the fittest. I've never went there, luckily, because I don't think I was cut out for that place. But you will hear the stories. You know, there are some horrific stories about that place, and it definitely instilled a lot of fear into a lot of people. like myself, and that was one of those things that I knew I never wanted to go. I never wanted to go to YA because, like I mentioned, it was gladiator school, and hopefully, Ernie could shed some light on some of his experience there, and some of what he saw.
Yeah, I haven't used that term gladiator school, but that's exactly what it was. When I say you had to fight a lot, that's what that means. It's gladiator zone, you just, everybody fought in there. Everybody, it didn't matter who, and it's just, like I said, everybody was a pressure case there. So everybody felt they had something to prove. And so, you couldn't show weakness. You couldn't show emotions or anything like that. You didn't have time for that. That was not the place for that. And just, it was, I had to fight a lot, and it's just like, you fight anybody. Anybody.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It's just, like, I know I keep saying it, like, you have to fight a lot, you have to fight a lot, but that's just the way it was. That was life in there. That's all people look forward to, is just fighting. Yeah, we went to school, but that was it. We had nothing else to do. That was the entertainment. And even that's why YA is closed, because a lot of crooked things went on there, and even the counselors, they're a big part of the reason why it's closed down, because they were crooked, and they would set up fights, and many other things. And it's like a boxing ring, they would kind of like be betting on fights, and we just knew is that we just had to fight. We're not gonna back down because we didn't want to look weak, and because if other people smell blood or whatever, they'll attack you more. And you're just, now they prey on you, and it's crazy, but that's how that was, that life in there. So I guess it is a good thing that they shut it down, and I remember my last stop was in YTS, right there in Chino. And while I was there, they ended up killing a counselor, a female counselor. I forgot that guy's name, but
I think his name was James, and I know the staff's name was Ms. Baker.
Something like that. Yes.
Ms.
The
Baker.
counseling, yeah. But it's sad. It's sad, like you see a counselor, a female, you just right there doing her job, and you have somebody that just is real callous like that to snatch her up, and I don't want to get all graphic, but he did what he did, and then to so. Just hearing that, it just lets you know that, damn, that's YA. That's YA. That's not even prison. That's YA. And so that's why I say it's good that they closed it down.
So I do want to share, a few facts that I know about that incident that happened with that staff. So the individual that ended up taking her life, he was in prison so he was convicted as a juvenile, I want to say he had a bad crime, and I think he had taken somebody's life. So they had sentenced him as an adult, and they had given him an M number, which meant that once he reached a certain age in CYA, they were going to transfer him over to the California Department of Corrections at that time, and then he was pretty much sentenced to life without parole in prison, and so he ended up doing some awful things to that staff member. He ended up throwing her in, I believe, a garbage disposal or a dumpster, and a trash can, yeah. And I'm not sure how long it took, like a day or two, where they finally ended up finding her body, and then they ended up sentencing, giving him I believe another life sentence on top of that one. So he's probably never gonna get out of prison.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. When you really think about it, yeah, I was there, so they put all of us on lockdown for months. We couldn't, there was no movement, nothing. And then what that caused was they started shipping all the guys that were M numbers, all of them. They shipped them all out to prison. Like, they didn't want them there because of that. What happened, and it just was never the same, because now the program was ran more stricter, and they were more cautious, and but I ended up eventually paroling from there, and so I ended up getting out from there, and that was it.
So I didn't ask you. So at what age was it when that you finally made your way to YA?
The first time?
Oh, you went many times?
To YA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to YA 3 times.
Damn, Ernie. So you went to 4 different camps and you went to YA 3 times, man. So, so the first time you went to YA, how old were you?
I was, I think I was 14, or barely turned 14.
And
yeah, and then
how long did it take you to get out? At what age did you get out?
I got out when I was 18.
Okay, so you were there almost 4 years. So, and for those that are listening in, so the California Youth Authority, you could be there from teenage years all the way up until the age of either 18 or 25. It was 25, right? Based on the type of crime that you committed.
Yeah, 25. Yeah,
25. So you mentioned earlier on that you went to YA 3 times. So the longest they could hold you was until the age of 25, right?
Yeah, that's the most.
Okay. And then so you got out. You got out from your first YA sentence. How long did it take you before either you caught a new case or caught a parole violation?
A month. I was out a month, and then I got arrested for fighting in public, and then they found a stash of I think it was meth, crystal meth. It wasn't mine, but when the cops pulled up, it was thrown next to my area where I was at, and so the cops found it next to me, and so he booked.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And so once he booked me for it, like, I mean, obviously you can't say, hey, who threw it? Like, I couldn't point fingers or nothing, so I just took the rap for it. And yeah.
And by this time, because I'm not sure if you touched on it or not on our first conversation, but by what age were you involved in gangs?
I was 12. 12. Right when I started running away. I started hanging out with these friends that I met in school, and they started inviting me to their houses, and I started kicking it with them, committing crimes with them, and before you know it, I was in their neighborhood. Now I was one of them, and I mean, I thought it was everything to me, like it mattered a lot to me, because I was being accepted, and they accepted me, they validated me, they they cared what I thought, they made me feel like my opinions and my voice matters, and so I was like, I was 12. Yeah.
And I know some people that might be listening to this, they might not be able to relate, to the things, you went through and making, they can't relate with the choices you made at that age, to join a gang. And a lot of the times you didn't have an option, as far as, who were going to be your friends and whether you're going to be part of a gang or not. A lot of the times, it was peer pressure. So I just wanted to, go ahead.
I want to say, like, when I started running away from home and I started hanging out with them, like, I couldn't, well, when I was running away from home, still trying to go to school, I couldn't function in school. Like, I was in regular classes, but I couldn't function. They ended up putting me in a special ed class, and I was like, what the heck is this? And I've never been in a special ed class, and but I didn't even tell my mom. Like, hey, they put me in a special ed class. She just thought I was in regular classes. But the kids would be making fun of me because I was in that class. Like, why are you in a retarded class? Or you're stupid, or you're retarded, and so I just started giving up on school. I would just start ditching.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I wouldn't show up to class. I would be at the park in the in the school hours. I would be at the park, and joining a gang, it was my outlet. Like, I felt like it just gave me a new identity. Like, and yeah. I'm gonna have to call back.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, Ernie. So you could go ahead and give us a call back, and we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and continue with your journey.
Okay, I'll come back.
Let me see. Educational purpose only, say that. Yeah, it is for educational purposes. Maria writes, my son's dyslexic. He had to go. No shame. Yeah, it be like that sometimes. Shit, my letters and numbers be switching up sometimes, so I could relate. To that. Let me see. How do we put money on his books? If you feel like, if you do feel generous to do that, or you find it in your heart, if there's this app called, what is it called? It's called GTL. You could either I believe you could do it through GTL or through JPay. if you want, send me a message and I can provide you with his details, his CDCR number and his name, and I might have a video that I could send you.
This
Call is now
Global
being
Tel
recorded.
Link. You have a prepaid call from
Ernie?
an incarcerated individual at the R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility, San Diego, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. To refuse, thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Thank you. Hello, hello.
Hello.
All right. So we had some comments here from, let me see, Maria wrote, where did she write? Let me see. She says, she wrote, my son's dyslexic. He had to go, no shame. So her son might have been in some of those classes also.
Yeah. The class that I described?
Yeah. Yeah. The you said it was it special ed or ESL?
Yeah, special ed.
Right? Okay. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, I at first I didn't, I just was attending that class, like, okay, this is my new class. And but I couldn't handle it when I started getting clowned for it, like, oh, you're retarded too, and they would make fun of me, and I would get angry, like, damn, and so it just, like, I couldn't function, like I said, in regular class. Like, I was slow in learning. I became slow in learning, and for a lot of years, like, it just affected me. Now looking back at it, like, I still don't even have my GED, and I'm 50 years old, so it made me feel like a certain way in regards to education, like I'm not cut out for it, or it's not for me, but that's wrong thinking, because education is for everybody. It's what we make of it, and of course I know that now, but I didn't know it then, and but going back to the special ed class, I just stopped going because once again, I cared what other people thought of me. I cared what other people said about me, or what was said to me, so and so I just didn't have no aspirations, educational aspirations or whatever. I just didn't care for it. And just what I did care is from being in a gang. Okay, now this is my gang. So now this is what I'm gonna do. Kind of like saying, oh, this is my new job. I'm gonna work hard at it.
And when you did join that gang, did the bullying stop?
Yes, and I made it stop. That was the reward. There we go. That was the rewarding factor of it. Well, now I'm in a gang, so now I'm not by myself. Now I have a little crew, a little posse. So they have no choice but to back me up, and so all the little bullying and all that had stopped, and it made me feel good, like, okay, now there's the respect. Like, okay, this is how I get respect, by being aggressive, by being violent, and by lashing out, being impulsive, and instill fear in other kids, when I have fear myself.
Wow, man, that's that's a lot of we have a few comments on here that that could relate with you. Let me see them, and I want to read them off for you here. Let me see here. Shelby wrote, I feel so bad for him. He shouldn't feel less than anyone else. Reina wrote, it's not his fault. I wish it was not his fault. I was in special ed class as well. And let me see what else.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And Maria wrote, my son's dyslexic. He had to go. No shame. I'm not sure if I read that one previously, and I think I saw another one somewhere around here. No Face writes, my daughter is autistic and dyslexic. Her school keeps her in class 80% of the time.
Yeah, I like real quick. I'm trying to like I'm going back to those years when I was attending the special ed class, and it's like everybody in that class, they're just human beings. They're just kids, innocent kids, and it's not their fault that, that they're, as they say, as I was told that I'm slow in school or whatever, it's just, I guess I couldn't function because of the issues that were going on at home. I didn't know how to deal with that, and I was dealing with shame, hurt, pain, and it was affecting me in school. And the teachers didn't understand any of it, obviously because I wasn't telling them what's going on at home. The teachers just knew that I'm flunked. The teachers just knew that I was flunking or failing, so they just put me in the bungalows, because special ed was in the bungalows.
Man, I remember the bungalows.
Yeah, the bungalows, and so, now I'm 50 years old, I'm a grown man, now it's like, man, it's like we're to help these kids, in whatever way we can, and just help anybody, any kid that's struggling for that matter, but yeah.
Do you feel they could have done something differently when it came to your learning abilities growing up?
I don't think anything could have been done different, because I was the one that was suppressing my emotions and my feelings. I wasn't asking for help, like in regards to things that were going on at home. I just bottled everything up or swept it under the rug, as you say, and so in doing so, it just was messing me up, and that was the results of it. So I don't think that there was anything else that could have been done, because ultimately it was me, the way I was dealing with it, and it just affected me, and like I said, that's the results of it.
All right. So let's get back into your you get out. You're out for a month from YA. You end up going back. How was that experience when you end up back in YA? Were you by this time were you seasoned already? Were you intimidated or scared to go back to YA?
When I was out a month, and then yeah, I got arrested for it was like a little melee, a gang melee, whatever, fighting, and so I got arrested for that. But they also found the drugs in a little plastic bag, and I was the closest one to it, so I got booked for it, and they took me in for it. But that's my official first charge as an adult, was that drug. They got me for a drug possession, but it's not even on me. But I was the one closest to it, so they booked me for drug possession. So that's my first initial charge as an adult. And because it's the first charge as an adult, they give you like what's called like a OR or something like that in court.
Yeah.
They give you a citation or something, and like a ticket or something. And they tell me, oh, well, you got a court date, show up on this court date, and this and this and that. And so I showed up on that court date. Well, they booked me, and then they released me that same night. I ended up showing up on that court date, and they didn't want to hear it. The judge, and then they locked me up. And then now I went to the county jail, and that's my first time being in the county jail. And then from there, that's when they sent me back to YA.
Right now that you mentioned that you went to court, was it Rio Hondo court that you went to?
Yeah, Rio Hondo.
No, okay, yeah.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Yeah, you said you were from the SGV, so yeah, I'm familiar with Rio Hondo court right there off of it's off of Valley, right? Valley, and I know it's right around the corner from the El Monte bus station.
Police station.
Oh, también, yeah, from the police station
from
too.
The police station. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So so you hit LA County Jail, man. So this was like the early 90s, right? LA County in the early 90s, man. That's when you could still keep your shoes. So I know people were they were getting got for their shoes back then.
No, we could keep our shoes back then.
Yeah.
And it was for me, I thought it was fun. You know, I already had homies that been in the county, in and out of the county, and I knew a lot of people that were in the county, in and out of the county. So, you know, they gave me the rundown. So I kind of already knew about it, and so the do's and don'ts about the county jail, and but right away, you get there, and you know you stick to your kind, you know, meaning your race, you know, and that's what it is, you know. You just observe, or at least I did. I just observed, and there was a lot of riots in the early 90s. There's a lot of racial riots, and some of them are not, you know, yeah. You just, you have to stay strapped, you know.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
So with that case that you picked up for the I'm not gonna say the name of the stuff you got caught with, but what were you sentenced to at that time?
what did they sentence me to?
Yeah.
They sentenced me to. It was actually a violation.
Mm-hmm.
I did like a little over a year.
Okay, so they picked you up from county. YA went to pick you up, and then you ended up spending a year in YA.
Yeah, I went to Chino, to YTS. I was there for a little bit, and then they sent me to El Centro.
All right, so this call, I knew it was about to hang up, so we'll just go ahead and wait for him to call back. And let me see. No Face wanted a flush, a courtesy flush. And for those of you that are interested in watching the court cases, I'll probably be back at 11 for the last court. We'll go ahead and do Maricopa. I know Maricopa has been popping today. It's been they've been having some long rosters. Rosters. Man, what is this, a basketball team? Hey, it seems like it today, man. It was nonstop. I know the 11 o'clock one ran almost 2 hours today, and then the 2 o'clock one was a pretty long one also.
This is Global
This
Telling.
call is now being
You have
recorded.
a prepaid call from
Ernie?
an incarcerated individual at the R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility, San Diego, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. So you go back to YA. You're in there for a year. What you know, because I didn't ask you, you know, with the earlier conversation about YA, but did they offer any type of programs there? Anything that would help you better yourself? Any type of trades or any type of counseling, you know, to help you guys deal with the things that you guys were going through as adolescents in that environment?
You know what? They did have besides regular education like school, they did have trades like they had carpentry, they had masonry, like learning how to lay bricks and stuff like that. They had like a barber shop. So they did have these type of trades. And I remember when I was in YTS, I was taking the masonry trade. And, I mean, I tried to lay the bricks, but I wasn't that good at it.
Yeah.
They were all uneven. But I didn't.
It's not easy. It looks easy, but it's not easy. You got to get your level and you got to make sure you're laying them correctly. So there's more than, you know, to it than just grabbing a brick and laying it down.
No, you have to have it down packed. You know, I just couldn't get into it because I ended up eventually paroling, so I never finished it. But I did.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
At least I can say that I did have a taste of that trade, the masonry, you know. But I still don't know how to do it. But they did have that to offer us. They had they didn't have a lot of groups though. You know, that's all they basically had, and that was it.
Right. All right. So you get out. You're fresh out of YA for a year. Did they celebrate you when you came back home? Did you have any influence in your local neighborhood? You know, being that you This was your second time in YA.
Yeah, you know, like I can describe it by saying like you're like a you're like a celebrity kind of. You know, it's just, you know, people look up to you. You know, like your other homies and all that haven't been nowhere or nothing like that. They look up to you because they know you've been places already, and they respect that a lot. And so, you know, I did feel that. You know, and you know, yeah, I remember we had a little gather, like a little party. You know, it was nice. Like a welcome home type, you know, and you know, I just was out, and then, you know, I try not to get involved with things because I just got out, but because you're in the gang, you just get sucked right back into it, you know, and because people look up to you, they bring issues to you, you know, like, hey, this is what's going on, or hey, this is what happened, and what should we do, and things like that. And then because you're the one that's been around already, you got to make choices, you know, and you got to set the example, set the tone or whatever, and you got to lead. You know, sometimes you just got to do it, you know, because nobody else is doing it. And so there you go, back into the lifestyle again. And that's what happened with me. I just got involved right back again, and it's just hard to stay away. It's like a magnet, you know, that lifestyle. It's like a magnet. You know, you're drawn back into it. No matter how hard you try to avoid it, it just sucks you back in. And so there I was, gang banging again. And yeah, it's like there's no days off on gang banging.
And no 401k either.
No. Yeah.
Hey, so can you take us through what was like a normal day for you, from the time you woke up to the time you ended up getting back home, gang banging?
A normal day. Well, we could start it off like a normal day is just wake up, you know, go to the store, buy whatever you need, whatever for the house, you know, come back or and then wait till the evening, and then just push out to the street again, and then go meet up with the homies, and then go on a mission. On a mission meaning go take care of business, go handle something for the neighborhood, and come back home, and then act like nothing happened, and then just, you know, kick it at home, and then that would be a normal day.
And by this time, so you've been to YA twice already. What's your and your mom's relationship like? Is she welcoming when you're coming out of these facilities?
Yes, my mom at that time, yes, she was always welcoming. Like, no matter where I came from, how long I was gone for, as soon as I was out, it's like, you know, Mom always welcomed me home and cooked meals for me, and, you know, like, ven pa acá, you know, vamos a voy a cocinar and vamos a comer, and you know, and that's one thing about moms. No matter what you did or how long you were gone for, whatever, mom's is always gonna be mom. She's never gonna turn her back, and you can count on it. And that's the kind of mom I had. You know, even though she knew what I was doing and knew my lifestyle, but she never turned her back on me. And so, you know, I was blessed to have a mom like that.
Man, so that shows, you know, that shows another side of the coin, you know, because, you know, earlier on, or on our first call, you had mentioned the type of abuses you went through growing up, and now you're showing another side of your mom, where, you know, she is welcoming. So I'm assuming there was good, you know, good and bad, pros and cons of, you know, the way your mom treated you and things of that nature. So I'm glad you mentioned that right there.
Yeah, like once I was able to just live on my own and you know, become this little young adult that I thought I was, like moms just continued to love me and be there for me, and we never talked about the past when I was growing up and all that. We just left it alone. And you know, but mom was
Ernie? I hope the phone doesn't start tripping again. Hey, HD, thank you. Let me see. Yeah, I heard about that. The 11 people escaping from county jail. I was reading some of the comments. Somebody had mentioned that that one person was apprehended. Renee, thank you for the follow. So I think the phone might have gone out right there. So we'll wait around for a few minutes to check if it reconnects. But it happens sometimes from time to time with GTL. It's not you would think. I mean, the GTL's been around since I was a kid, you know, in these juvenile facilities. So you would think, you know, 30 plus years later that they would have this thing on lock already. They would know what they're doing. You know, they're issued, or they awarded some really huge contracts throughout the country. It's just not California, throughout the country, and they call themselves Global Tel Link. It's more like garbage Tel Link to me. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate with that, with these phone calls. You know, when you're trying to talk to your loved ones, you're trying to do video visits, and the phone service sounds like you're underwater. Pretty awful. Anyhow, let me see. It takes time, right? No face. Hey, what's up, HD? Thank you. Highly appreciate those fireworks right there. Let me see. That's how my mom was when I got out. I did 13 years. Just got out last January. Damn. That's a little stretch right there. 13 years. Wow. Hopefully, you're doing a lot better. You're in a better place. When does he get out? Right now he's sentenced to life without parole. He's an LWOPer. How old is our friend? You said juvenile. So he's 50. I know he said 50, but I'm not sure if it's exactly 50 years old, or 51 or 52. But I'll confirm with him right now, or I'm pretty sure somebody in the chat remembers exactly what age he said he was. So he's been in prison at this point. I think he said 3 years shy of 30 years. So at this point, I believe he's been in prison for 27 years. So just imagine. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people listening to this that probably are not even 27 years old. So they probably he's been in prison even before they were a thought in their mom and dad's head. So or maybe they were babies. You know, I'm from '81. So when he went to prison, I was probably a teenager. Let me see. By the grace of God, I have only been locked up one time for public intoxication, and sometimes that's all it takes. Let me see. Has he spent time in isolation? That's a good question. You know what? We haven't even got to his prison journey yet. We just talked about his YA juvenile hall, but we're definitely gonna get into his California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation experience, if you will. I just turned 26 in April. There it is. So there it is, Riley. I'm doing a lot better. I did I did day
This
per
call and your
day.
telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So you see, so the phone system still thinks that we're having a conversation. Obviously, we're not. There's some type of disconnect going on here. So, and then the sad thing is that he won't be able to call until this call, till it hits the 15-minute mark, which is about to be in about a minute and 30 seconds. So we'll wait for this call to disconnect, and then we'll just wait for him to call back. Jail is no joke. Let me see. Big Mike in Saleh. I spent 37 days in county jail. It changed me. Hey, I did 14 days in. Man, talk about you having being deprived of human contact. What it does to you in that short amount of time. I could look 14 days. I did 14 days. I could just imagine people that have done 15, 20, 30 years in isolation. Man, when will he get out? At this point right now, he is serving life without parole. So if he's not able to get back into court, that might be his sentence. You know, it all depends. I'm not sure if he will be able to get back into court. He is helpful, and there he is. He's calling back.
This call is now being recorded.
Link. You have a prepaid call from
30?
an incarcerated individual at the R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility, San Diego, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
Cinco.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, Ernie.
Hello.
Man, I don't think GTO. I don't think they paid their internet bills, so they might have ran out of data. The call just went blank.
Hanged up.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember where you were at before it went dark? I know you were talking about your mom.
Yeah. I was saying that once I just was leaving home or running away from home and just growing up as a teenager, you know, it was different, you know, like mom was just, she was just mom, you know, just like she wouldn't yell at me no more. She wouldn't put her hands on me or none of that. You know, it was just, she always, how can I say it? Like, she would worry about me, you know, and tell me, like, to stay out of trouble, to don't stay out late, and watch out who I'm hanging out with, because you're going to end up back in jail. And sure enough, that's how things would play out. I would end up back in jail, you know, and then once I'm ready to, like, leave or whatever, or when I'm close to coming home, my mom would be the one to come pick me up. And she would take me home, and
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Within a few days, you know, I would just take off again, you know, and that's, you know, you know, so mom, she was loving, you know, like, she was caring. She looked out for a lot of people, you know. Mom, that's the way mom was, you know. It's just, you know, like before she passed away, like me and her, we had her last 4 months, we had them together, you know. Like, I didn't get to see her on a video call or the last time, let me back up. The last time I seen my mom at visit was in 2007. 2007. But fast forward now to, my mom passed away 2.5 years ago. But her last 4 months, like, I was able to talk to her every other day, every day, and we had our closure. It's like the Lord gave us our closure, like allowed us to have that the last 4 months. And, she apologized to me and I apologized to her. We forgave each other, like, and she was telling me, like, man, me ayudaste mucho. Me acuerdo cuando llegabas a la casa con muchas cosas, nos ayudaste mucho. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that, because it hurts to hear that, and it's like, man. But Mom's telling me, like, man, you looked out. You going and stealing and all that and bringing it home, you looked out. It's messed up to hear that, But, and I said, Mom, I just, yo nomás, no teníamos cosas, so yo hacía lo único que yo sabía hacer is, and, but, yeah, it's just, we just had closure, like, I apologized and asked her for forgiveness, like, for being rebellious and being a bad son, just, and she's like, no, just don't worry about it, you're a better person today, and just stay that way, don't change. So, yeah, we had our closure, and so, yeah, my change, I also, I
They kick you out?
Sorry, Ernie. My daughter just showed up. She's making a cameo appearance. She wants to get on the camera. She wants to use some filters on me.
She said, snap out of it, Ernie.
Who are you calling?
Ando hablando con Ernie.
Who is Ernie?
Ernie?
Yeah.
¿No conoces a Ernie?
No.
No?
What do Ernie?
Hi.
Tell me.
Ernie dijo hola.
Hola.
Hi. Hola.
Toma, Ernie. Toma.
She said toma, Ernie.
Then get out of here.
Ay, niña.
No, you niño.
She's on a good one right now. Hey, Ernie. So, right now I think this will be a good point to leave off at, because she's not gonna leave here. That's it. She gave me a good like an hour and a half, in here in the room. But
okay.
I want to read some of these comments off before we part ways. And let me see some of these comments from our audience here. So Shelby wrote, "This breaks my heart." Let me see. Reina writes, "It breaks my heart. Pray for him. Lord Jesus, be with him. Praying hands." And then let me see right here. Shelby put, "Wow, almost 20 years." And I think in regards to the last time you saw your mom in a visit. And then I had a few people asking me if you were ever going to get out of get out of prison, and I mentioned to them that at this point right now your life without parole, unless you're able to get into court or something changes in the law. I know you have mentioned there was a Senate bill that you guys were expecting to pass, so that might help you get resentenced.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
do you recall the name of the Senate bill, just in case if anybody's listening in and they have any family members that are sentenced like the way you are, so they could look into it and follow it.
It's called SB 672.
SB 672.
Yeah, 672. I forgot the title of it, but it's a good bill.
This is my dad.
Thank you. Can you hear her, Ernie?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm a real Ray. You're the fake Ray.
Yeah.
Mommy.
Can you hear her talking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds funny.
I'm telling you, man, she's a trip. But yeah, hey Ernie, man, thank you. I do appreciate you taking time out of your day, to share your journey. On the next call, I think it'll be a good starting point, to get into your life crime
I'm a real
and what that day was like. What are the events that transpired, and then we'll go ahead and get into your journey. Going to court and getting sentenced to life without parole, and eventually, entering the California Department of Corrections.
I'm a real Ray, but I don't see.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
let me read. Let me see some other messages right here. Let me see.
Okay, you want it again?
KC_fan wrote, thank you for sharing. Keep your head up. Let me see
I'm
here.
a real Ray, Papa.
And then he definitely sounds reformed. He should get a second chance, writes Blitz. Let me see.
Papa,
Somebody wrote, is that your daughter? Yeah, this is my daughter right here.
I'm a real James, Papa.
Oh, you're the real James. Yes, you are.
That's the princess.
Yeah. All right, Ernie, man. Well, thank you. I want to thank you. I want to thank the audience, for listening in. I appreciate you guys.
Me coming back.
And is there any parting words you wanna say to the audience, Ernie, before we part ways, or she breaks my she's gonna break my stand over here, kicking my computer around?
No, just real quick, just to the audience, thank you for taking the time to tune in, listening in, and thank you, and thank you for thank you for your comments, and
No more hands.
thank you for
Papa, what do that purple
for
things mean? I'm putting my hand up.
for your support. Thank you.
What do that mean?
All right, Ernie. Well, hey, you have a good one, and anybody that was tuning in, you guys have a good one. I am Collect Call James. You are watching. You have a Collect Call From, and like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, she's been listening to me way too much, Ernie. Hey, dile.
Yeah.
Hey, dile buenas noches a Ernie.
Buenas noches, Ernie.
Buenas noches.
Te dijo buenas noches.
Noches.
All right, I'm going to go, Ernie. She's about to body slam me right now.
Okay, man.
Hey,
you have a good night.
Hey, you as
Take
well.
care,
Thank you, Ernie. Have a good one.
Okay, man. Good night. Bye.
All right, have a good one.
Hello.
Yeah, hold on, Ernie. Hold on. I'm hanging everything up right now. Give me one moment. Let me see. Ay, she's attacking me. Ay. Oh no. I'm almost done. I gotta cut off one more. Hold on.